Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and today we're going to work again with some vellum. I've got another idea of something that we can do with vellum, and this is not my original idea. This partially come from Wendy's, what is the name of her channel? Wendy's Journal Adventure, and I will link her channel down below. I may do mine a little bit different. I don't know yet. But anyway, we're going to work with some Project Life cards. Now, I don't do Project Life, and I got some of these in Happy Mail. And, you know, you don't want to throw these away because it's good stuff. So, we're going to work with them, and I'm going to show you how to use these and some vellum and maybe some pretty botanicals to dress these up a little bit. I'm also going to be working with the paper, some of the paper out of the E-Club kit, and I may even work with some of the embellishments. I don't know. We'll see what all we want to work with. But this is some of the items that came in your E-Club kit, so we'll just see what all we want to work with. So this is a beautiful paper collection. It's a 6x8 and it is called Marigold. So it's very pretty. It is single-sided, and I like that sometimes when you're going to be doing something like this. It also could be used for fall. Look at that. It's got the little deer. It's got basically the fall colors. Love that page. And it's got some of the rose gold shine in there, so I like that. Alright, so let's see what we might want to use. Let's try blue on this. Now, the first thing that I want to do, I'm going to make these into tag pouches. I think Wendy called them tag pouches. I am going to make these into tags with a little pouch on the front. But these are really too wide for the tags that I want to make, so I'm going to cut these down. And we need to cut them down the same size as these are, because these are the ones that we're going to use on the front. So let me see how wide these are. These are exactly 3 inches. So we need to cut these down to 3. I'm just going to slice it down through there, and we'll keep those little pieces because we can use those for something else. Okay, got those cut down. Now what we want to do is we're going to take this, and I'm going to cover this with paper. Like I said, mine may not turn out like Wendy's, but I'm going to link hers below. She is a very wonderful creator, and you can go over there and check her channel out. So I'm going to cover that. I think the whole side I'm going to cover with this paper right here. And I'm going to use my art glitter glue. And let's see. I think I'm just going to put art glitter glue in the middle. And then I'm going to stitch around mine. But now, if you're not going to stitch, just make sure that you put your glue all the way out to the edge. But I'm going to stitch, so I'm not going to put my glue to the edge. And I don't think, nope, I can't get 2 on here, so that's okay. We can use the other part for something else. Okay, so that is the front covered. Now, I'm going to go ahead and cover the back on this because that'd be kind of hard to write on. But all I'm going to put on the back is, let's see, just some tea-dyed paper. If I have any scraps right here, let me look. See. Ooh, I think that might cover it right there. That's not tea-dyed paper, but this is my favorite paper to put on the back of tags. So I think that will work. And again, I'm not really going to concentrate on going to the edges because I'm going to be stitching this. So just going to make sure that it's put down somewhat near straight. Alright, we have the back covered. And now we're going to take one of these, and it doesn't really matter which one you take. I'm just going to grab up one, and we're going to cover this with paper as well. Oh, look, that'd be pretty. We may not have to cover that. That's kind of pretty. Don't mind that. But I think I'm going to cut this one off a little bit too. I'm just going to cut that rounded edge off of it. You don't have to do that. That's just my personal preference. But I'm going to cut, let's see, I don't have to cut it off at the bottom. I'm just going to cut it off at the top. Because at the bottom, I'm going to round those corners anyway. So we could put that down there. And like I said, I don't think that would have to be covered at all. But now if you have a color, like let's just say this was the color and you didn't have one on the back that's going to match, which we don't, you could cover this with some tea dyed paper or coffee dyed paper or something like that to keep that from showing through. But on this one, I think we're going to leave that right there. I don't mind that. We're going to put that down like that. But first, before we do that, we're going to put some kind of botanical or butterfly or something on this. So I just need to find one that's going to work. Now I've just pulled out my botanicals and thrown them here across my desk. Because I think we might put that on there like that. Let me make sure that's the one I want. I'd like to have one a little bit bigger, but I don't think I have one that's bigger that might not be too big. So I'm just going to flip through these real quick. Nope, let's use that one. Okay, right before I put it down, of course, I'm going to put a little bit of ink on it. It'll make it stand out a little bit more. Just put some ink around the edges to cover up that white and just to kind of make it pop. Okay. And then that's going to go there like that. We're going to lay that piece aside for a minute. Now, anything else that you might want on here, go ahead and put it on there now. I think I'm going to put a label or a butterfly or something on there first. This is a good place to use little butterflies and things that you have cut out that may be too small for some things and too large for others, and you really don't know what you're going to do with them. This would be a good project. If I can find one that is the color that I'm looking for. Oh, look at that. That's cute. That has black and then it has some of that royal blue on the inside. And one of you guys actually gave these to me. Now I'm thinking I might want that one in there. Yeah, I like that one better. It's got, these have vellum on the back in different colors. And I guess they punch them out and they put them in this little thing for me. I love it. I want to say it was Cindy York, but don't quote me on that. If it's not you, I'm sorry. The person who sent these to me, just leave me a message below and let me know. You know I forget. If I don't mark them as soon as they come in, my mind is gone. But I think we're going to put that there. So let's glue those down. Okay. I'm going to glue that right there. And then we're going to take this little butterfly and glue him down right there. All right, now we're going to take a piece of vellum, and let's see if I have a piece that's already cut. I don't think I do. So I'm going to measure this, and then I'm going to cut my vellum. It's 3 by 3 1/4. Now we're going to take this little piece of vellum and we're going to put that right on top, just like that. Now I may have to trim it a little bit, and if I do, that's okay. Trim it a little bit off on the side. Okay, now, if you don't have Barely Arts glue, and if you're afraid to put any ink on here, if you're afraid to put any glue on here, afraid it's going to show through your vellum, what I would do is just put a little bit in the corners and leave it that way. If you're not going to stitch. Now, I'm going to stitch, so I'm not going to worry about putting any glue on here, but that's just if you're not going to stitch and if you don't have Barely Arts glue. Barely Arts glue will not show through. It's never showed through on any of my projects, so we're going to use that, but I may just put one little drop, just enough to hold it in place while I stitch. Now, I'm going to make sure that I've got it about the right width, and I don't, so we're going to flip this over, and I'm just going to trim that off a little bit. I think I measured a little bit too big. And I could trim this off after I stitch, but I'm just going to do it now. And see, I have my little bucket right here, and here I go, just trimming them off on the table. Okay, I'm going to round this corner again, okay. We're going to put that there just like that. Isn't that cute? It just kind of knocks that back and just makes it look really cute. All right, let me stitch on top of this. And I know you're probably, a lot of you are saying, when are you ever going to get your sewing machine on camera? We're working on it. We are. It's just that there's a lot that goes into it when you have a large sewing machine and it's across the room. So that is that stitched at the top. Now what we're going to do, where's my piece? There it is. We're going to put this down on here like that. But first I'm going to round the corners, and I'm going to ink this piece. So I'm going to round these corners off and the top. Okay. Then I need to ink this because I can't ink it after I get it put together. After I get it stitched. Can't ink that top right there anyway. Now I'm going to lay this down on here. Now if you're not going to stitch, just go ahead and put your glue right around through there. That's all you have to do. And you've got your little pouch pocket on the front. But I'm going to stitch mine all the way around like that, okay? So we're going to stitch and we'll be right back. Okay, that's our little piece. I just did a straight stitch around the edges. And then we're going to make a tag to go in there. And I think I'll cut out one of these tags to put in there. This is a freebie that we just give out on our blog. And it's from Betty's Custom Designs. I have to look. Sometimes I want to call it Creations. But it's Betty's Custom Designs. And you can go over and check her store out. You also get a 15% off if you shop there and put in the code scrapbooking with me. But this is a freebie. This is one that she makes for us to give to you guys. She is one of our designers. All right, now I'm going to back this because it is a little bit thin. I just printed it on 28-pound cardstock or 28-pound paper, so it's a little bit thin. So we're just going to back it with something. And I've got some paper right here somewhere. We'll just back it on this. My printer spits these out every so often, and I don't like to waste them, so I use them for backing sheets. Now, I'm probably going to stitch this one too, but I'm going all the way to the edge with it right now. I may not stitch it until I get off camera. So if you're not going to stitch, then just make sure that you get your glue all the way to the edge. And you can do faux stitching on these. You can just take a black pen or brown pen, whatever color you think you would want, and just go around and put some little faux stitch marks on it. And it will look like stitching. So we'll go ahead and ink around that one a little bit. So that will slide right in there, just like that. And then we can put our seam binding or trim, whatever we are going to use, in the top of that. Let me grab my punch. Ooh, I had to stretch on that one. Let's see. Put it right there. Okay, there's our hole. We'll put a little hole here. Let's see, that may be down a little bit low for that one. That's better, I think. Okay. Now we're going to stitch around. Now we're going to ink around all of this. And I'm going to go ahead and ink on the back just because that's going to be a journaling spot, and I like to have a little bit of ink over that stitching. And then this one will have a journaling spot on the back. Now let's see what we have to put in the top of those. Okay, let's put a little bit of this blue seam binding in these. And you could put lace, or you could put anything. It doesn't have to be seam binding. It's just what I happen to have right here on my desk, so that's what we're going to use. Okay, there's a little piece there. And then another piece. And you know, that's so much blue. Maybe, let's see if we have a white. I don't know if I have white in here. I do. Well, it's kind of a cream, but I think that would work. It's not crinkled like the other, but we can crinkle it a little bit. You really can crinkle it by wetting it a little bit, but I don't have time to wet it, so I'm just going to wad it up in my fingers like this. And that's good enough right there. Now we'll just trim the ends off, and there we are. There is your little tag that sits back in the back. See, your flowers, it doesn't cover those up or anything. Your flowers and your little butterfly still shows. And there it's a really pretty tag. And it's a little, she called it a little pouch pocket, so you could put other things down in there, but there is that one. So let's make more. I think these are easy and I like them. I like easy. Okay, let's see what we're going to use next. Lay that one right there. Let's use another one of those. Seems like all I've got is that color, so that's okay. I want to use that. All right. Again, I'm just going to put my glue in the middle. Then we're going to trim this. Okay. Ooh, isn't that pretty? I like that. All right. So, which one? I don't think we have one that's really going to match that, so we're just going to cover this one. No. So we're just going to pick one and cover it. And I'm going to use a little scrap piece of paper. There's a tea-dyed piece right there. First, I'm going to cut it off a little bit. I like this to be a little bit shorter. So I'm going to cut it down to about 3 1/4. And then we'll cover this just like that. I'm going to put a little glue down the middle. Then we'll just trim around it. Since I'm going to stitch, I don't have to have glue everywhere. But again, make sure that you put your glue all over if you're not going to stitch. It works the same way. It'll look just as pretty, I promise. I don't know what my computer's doing. It keeps... I have no idea what's going on over there. Okay, I'm just rounding those bottom corners because I'm going to round these. Now, I probably should have used my glue stick on that. Ooh, because you can see where I tried to put that glue on there, but that's okay. We're going to cover it with a botanical. So it's not going to matter. That there. Now, what botanical do we want to put on here? We may have to cut one down. I've got large ones left. I don't really want a large one on there. Oh, that might be pretty. Kind of goes with those, doesn't it? Let's see what else we have. Oh, we have this one. That's a little bit big, but we could put it maybe this way and then trim any edge off. Let's do that. So you can either trim these little white edges off or ink them. I'm going to ink mine, but you can trim them off if you want. I'm not going to take the time right now to trim them off. So I am just going to ink them. It helps it pop a little bit anyway, so if I put it like that, we'll just have to nip just a little bit off. So we're going to do that. A little bit of glue in the middle. Put that down. And then I'm just going to nip these little tiny pieces off so that they don't hinder anything when we start to stitch. Okay. Now let's grab another piece of vellum. Oh yeah, I like that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? So I'm just going to put some marks on here and try to tear this. I may have a little bit better luck tearing than I did. Than I did when I chopped it off. We'll see. We shall see. Then again, it may be worse. Who knows? But you know what? We're going to use it regardless, one way or the other. Not anything that can't be fixed. This is just a metal ruler. All it is, and I like it when you're going to tear just straight edges. I like it for that. And it tears vellum very well. Okay, let's see what we got. Does that go that way, or does that go that way? No, it goes this way. Okay, I like that. Now, I'm going to put just a drop of glue on the inside in there, just a drop right there. And then I'm going to press that down, just so it'll hold it in place. And see, if you rub it, and once that dries, you're not going to be able to tell there's any glue there. Right now, you can see that little bit of glue. But once it dries, you're not going to be able to tell there's any glue there. All right, I'm going to take this over to my sewing machine, and I'm going to do a little zigzag stitch right across the top there. And then we'll put it together. So there that is. Now, I saw all these butterflies laying there beside my sewing machine. Sorry about the crinkling. And I thought I might just put a couple of little butterflies up and under there. These are some that I got gifted to me, and then others are ones that we punched out for some classes that we had one time. So let's see what we can find. I'd like to have, oh, I like that color. And I'd like to have that pink one right there. So let's see what that looks like. I think we'll have to put a little bit of ink on it so that it'll show up, this pink especially. Let's put him under there. Oh yeah, that shows up. And a little bit on this dark pink looking. And I think we'll put him right up there. Now on these, you can glue down because you're going to glue on the back. And I just try to press out all of the glue when I glue something down like this so that it doesn't squirt out and get on my vellum. But I'm also using my Barely Arts glue, so it's not really going to affect anything. So there that is. Isn't that cute? Now, we are ready for this to go on here. Now, all we need to do is just stitch around that, and that will hold that right there, and we'll be ready to go. So I am going to try to round this vellum. I don't think it's going to, well, yeah, it rounded really good. And this little chomper. Now, this one, my big one won't do that. It won't cut that vellum like that. But that little one, for some reason, doesn't mind the vellum at all. It'll cut it. So, now, most all the products that we use, other than, you know, things like this, the paper, this kind of paper and things, is always linked below. Or if you just click our store link, you can go over and see everything that's for sale in our store. So, sometimes I don't link every little piece of everything because it would take me 3 days. So, but you can always click on that link for our store and you can find it. Okay, I'm going to stitch around this real quick. I'm going to go ahead and round this top first. Right, and then I'm going to stitch and then we'll come back. I will put one together and show you just how it looks when it's glued. It's just as pretty. You don't have to do the stitching. I just particularly like it. All right, there is that one. I like that, those roses together. That looks pretty. I got a little bit of a extra thread right there. Let me cut that off. Okay, let's go ahead and punch our little pull in the top, and then we will go ahead and put some seam binding in it and then make our little tag. Let's see if we have another tag that might look okay in here. Oh, I think that tag would work, wouldn't it? Let's use that. And you know, we could do this. Go ahead and grab our little scissors here. This is just a faux postage stamp scissors. It's just like your pinking shears. If you have those, it'd work just as well. And I think we might put that right there, and that'll kind of bring that blue from up there down here maybe. Yeah, like that. There is that one on there, and then we'll cut this tag out. I think this time I'm going to use my... I tell you what, let's go ahead and back it and then we'll cut it out. So let's find something to back it with. It's a little bit easier to back it and then cut it. So now you know, if you have any old Project Life cards, what you can do with them. Or you don't have to have Project Life cards if you've just got some scraps of some kind, or even scrap cardstock, just something to make it a little bit strong. You can make these, and some vellum. That's all you need. I'm just using the Project Life cards. Well, one, Wendy reminded me that I had them. She didn't know she did, but she did. And then two, I like to use things that I already have in my stash. But since I had those, I wanted to use those up. Because I don't do Project Life, so this is the better thing to use them for, I think. Well, that was some crazy cutting. Okay, we'll go ahead and chop these little corners off. And put a little ink around it. And our little punch, and this is a ribbon punch. I have it in my Amazon store. If you just click on my Amazon store link below, you can go over and check that out. Yeah, that's going to work. So let's put a little bit of seam binding or lace or something on there. Let's try a little bit of the light blue. I like that. I just stuck my scissors in my hand. That hurt. Okay, there's that one. You know what? I may do this pink on this one. Just to have something a little different. You can always use that blue piece somewhere else. Alright, that goes down in there. And those are ready to go. Oh, we didn't put a backing on here. I'll do that later. That's not a biggie. I can do that anytime. Or I can just glue this down on two sides to a corner of a page and have it a corner tuck. So there is that one. So let's just do a few more. I feel like I'm on a roll. What paper would we want to use on here? Why don't we use this one? change up a little bit, which that's kind of a blue too. So let's do something different. Let's do a Tim Holtz piece. I don't have a scrap of this, but I think we can use maybe this piece. Now, you don't have to cover all the way down on this. I don't think Wendy did on hers. I think she just covered at the top because you're going to be putting this over there anyway, so you don't have to cover all the way. But I'm going to. It just makes this a little bit stronger, but you do not have to do that. So I meant to tell you that in the very beginning, and I forgot about it. Let's see, which side do we want? I think I want that other side, so we're going to put our glue over here. And that would save you paper, yes, but I like for my tags to be real strong, so I'm just going to do it this way. And it's not like I have a shortage of paper, so, right. Oh, that turned out good, didn't it? I like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and round the corners down here. And I'll just do the top ones too while I'm at it. Okay, so that's ready enough. And then we'll use this one. And what will we cover it with? We could cover it with a piece of this because that has a little bit of that blue there, or we could just stick with the Tim Holtz. I think I want to cover it with this because I don't want it to be so same. I think I might use this corner right here. And you could have always covered this with your tea dyed paper or coffee dyed paper. I'm just going to cover it with another piece of paper. I'm not good at following any kind of rules. Oh, I didn't trim that off any, did I? Nope, and that's going to be quite tall. I don't want it that tall. So I'm going to trim this off, and I'll just use this top piece for something else. Collage or something. Okay, I think that looks good. Right, now, what flower? That's going to be a question, because we have lots of pieces of flowers. Oh, you know what? Let me think a minute. This is black and white there, so I think I'm going to try to use a black and white flower and see what that works. I'm just going to fold that around because it's not going to hurt anything. Now, my bone folder. Oh, I like that. That looks like it was just made right into that background there. And I think I have a black and white label. I thought I did. I may not have printed them out. I do have some, but I may not have printed them. Well, what about if we just did a number right there, a black number? These are from Tina from Shabby Dabby Doodah. And another piece. Right there. Oh, look at that. I like that. It just barely shows through there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the corners on this. Okay. Then I'm going to stitch, but on this one, I told you that I would try to show you how I would put it down without any stitching, so we'll do that. I'm going to put a little bead of my Barely Art glue right at the top, right down the side. And you can try to get less glue than me. I'm a little bit heavy-handed on my glue. But the least amount of glue that you can have, the better. Now, I make sure that I get it nice and straight. And then I take my little towel and I just go around the edges, pressing out any of that extra glue out this way, not down that way. So I just kind of grab it and pull it. Pull the extra glue out. And then I take my bone folder and I go around those edges and press that glue inside. Now, right this minute, you can see little pieces here and there that's wet, but when that dries, you're not going to be able to see any of that. And it doesn't buckle or make your little vellum pucker like some of the other glues do. Okay. Then we'll put this down on there, and again, and I don't have to use my Bearly Arts on that. I can use my art glitter. We're not putting down vellum. Alright, so there is that. See, works just as good whether you stitch it or not. Now for my tag, I need something a little bit different. Okay, I'm just going to use a piece of this Tim Holtz paper, and I'm going to make a little tag. Let's see, I think I'll make it, can't remember how wide those other ones were, and I don't want to pull them back out, so we're just going to pretend that we know. Right, is that the right size? I think so. And we'll need to round the corners on this, and then, well, let's go ahead and back it with something, because that's not gonna, we're not gonna be able to write on that. So I'm running my glue all the way up to the edges. Now we shall round our corners. Ooh. Now you could cut these in tag shapes too. Don't have to do the rounding of the corners like I'm doing. I just particularly like this. Okay, I think I need to trim a little bit more right there. Alright. Let's punch our little, let's see, where's the top? Right here. Punch our little opening here. Oh, I didn't cover the back of that either, did I? Alright, I'll go ahead and cover this real quick. I may cut this part out because you guys know how to cover the back. But I'm just going to put the back on this before I forget to do it. Alright, now all we're going to do is ink around this. And we'll go ahead and punch our hole up here. Okay. Oh yeah. That will fit. I just have to push it a little bit. So let's see what we want to put on that one. I'd like to have, there's some brown right there. Start to say I'd like to have some brown, and then I just happen to find it. This is from Triple V Vintage. Okay, there is that. And just to show you what I mean by faux stitching, I will go around this one. This is just a black felt pen. And you can make your stitches as close together or as far apart as you want. I tend to, some of mine are close, some of them are really far. You can even do some zigzag on here and make it just some faux zigzagging. Okay. So there is what I mean by faux stitching. I think it looks pretty doing that. And you could do it all around through here as well. You can write on this vellum. before we had sewing machines, many moons ago, we used to do this all the time. We do our faux stitching, and we do it sometimes if it was on black or dark cardstock. You would do it with white gel pens like we sell in the store, and then if it's lighter color, you do it with a black one. Okay, so there are both of them faux stitched around. All right, I think that's all I want on that one. I think that's cute. So I am thinking that's all I'm going to do on these. Now you know another way to use your vellum. And I will make sure that I link Wendy's video below, so go over and check her channel out. Let her know in the comments that I sent you over there. And, I mean, you will enjoy her crafting. She's very, very good. All right, we will talk to you guys later. Let me drag all of them back out here. What did I do with them? Where are they? They disappeared. There they are. Okay. So there they are. And this one I think is calling for some little label. I just spotted that when I put that down. And I think it's going to be one of the Triple V vintage labels. Let's see. Let's use one that's got a little bit of brown and a little bit of pink in it. Whoops, I need to put that on the other side. No, I can't put it on the other side because I don't want to cover up my clock. Yep, we're going to put it over here and cover a little piece of the clock because this one is on that side. Just don't want them on the same side. So that is it. That is just how quick and easy it is. And just use more of your vellum or scrap pieces of vellum. So I'll hold them up so that you can get a look at them. And these are Project Life cards in behind, but if you don't have those, just use scrap paper or scrap chipboard or scrap covers that, you know, come on your paper pads, anything. Just cover them with the pretty paper and go from there. Okay. And there is the other. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed lately. We have quite a few new subscribers, and we really appreciate you. Don't forget, all of the links that I can find will either be below, or if it's something from our store, like Barely Arts glue or art glitter glue or glue stick, something like that, you will just go to the link below for our store, and you can go over there and find all of those products. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.